So I am seeing a lot of you guys make comments on my videos as to the types of games that are coming out that you are really hyped for. And I figured that being as I've just got back from Gamescom and I'm on this huge high with gaming at the minute, I wanted to feed into your comments and let you guys know some of the games that I am absolutely elated for. And I'm going to give 2 honourable mentions in this list as well. So let's enjoy it together. Please watch this video in its entirety because I need to convey my feelings on these. I am so excited. Let's get into it. So being as though my iPad's dead, I'm resorting to my trusty Nintendo notebook here, and I've made my little list. And I'm going to start with one of the most obvious ones, as I've talked about it recently. Cyberpunk 2077 is at the top of my list. It is the pinnacle game that I am absolutely excited for. As I watched a live gameplay demo down at Gamescom, my full thoughts on that gameplay demo will be linked in a video in the cards, but even in its alpha state, it looked so well refined, really nice and polished, an incredibly immersive and alive environment. Character interactions were on point, voice acting was really nice. So I know I'm going to get some quality story with Cyberpunk with some stunning visuals, and I just love that whole notion of the kind of the dilapidated city, the dilapidated outskirts. You know, it's just blowing my mind even thinking about it. Just kind of reminiscing back last week at Gamescom and seeing myself in my head watch that demo was absolutely flawless. Yes, we have to wait till 2020, but we know that we're going to get something amazing from CD Projekt Red, a phenomenal developer. And I think that with them, with what they did with The Witcher DLC, Witcher 3, you know, some of it was free. I think we're going to be in this for the long haul. I think they're going to continue to support Cyberpunk 2077 for the long ride. So I had to just mention it. I won't dive into it anymore because there is an exclusive video, but let's continue. So my second game is Death Stranding. Now, until Gamescom, I was completely in the mindset that I'm not getting this on day one. I don't know enough about it. I haven't seen as much gameplay as I would like, but I've now done a complete 180 on that. And my reasons are this. I deliberately held off on watching the trailer, the gameplay trailer, that was released before Gamescom because I wanted to feel it all down at Gamescom. So again, very similar to the Cyberpunk demo, we were sat in like a little cinema, we were watching the gameplay, and there were some different kind of episodes from the main kind of characters. So it cycled through, gave you a little bit. Again, we know the likes of Norman Reedus. We know there's some top actors in Death Stranding. I thought something that really stood out to me in Death Stranding as well, that down at Gamescom, was the sound design. The sound design was on point, like down to like kind of like just you could almost hear every little crunch and grind, you know, in Sam's suit. You know, that's the level of depth I want. I want a good game. I want it to sound good. And I liked it, you know. The gameplay gave me enough for me to go, you know what? You've got me, Hideo. You've got me. I'm baited. I'm going to be buying day one. Dudes, I'm so excited for it. So far we've got Cyberpunk 2077 and Death Stranding. I have more games here, so don't go anywhere. Next up then, The Last of Us 2. We don't know when Naughty Dog are going to deliver a final release date for The Last of Us 2, but what we can say is this. Leading up to it, all of the demos, all of the gameplay, the trailers, everything that's been released has been met with positive kind of feedback, positive welcome from the gaming community, gamers and critics alike. Everybody's eager to see what happens between Joel and Ellie. Me personally, I'm eager to just see what happens in general. Like the whole world for me is a holistic picture. Every interaction, like everything, I'm just so pumped. I think the pinnacle character is going to be Ellie moving forward. She's obviously kind of grown up a lot. She's in a relationship. We know she's going to be in a lesbian relationship. We don't know. We haven't seen much from kind of Joel's side of things, so that's still an element of mystery, and I think that's been done on purpose. I hope we get it this year. I don't think we will. I don't think it'll be as like a PS5 launch title. I think we're going to get it on PS4, and then I think it will come out again, remastered, rebooted for the PS5. So I'm super excited, guys. Naughty Dog haven't let us down yet. Uncharted's been on point, and the whole first game of The Last of Us with the DLC has been wicked. Next up then, I met Yu Suzuki down at Gamescom. I am so intrigued to see where the Shenmue series goes. It has been a blooming long time since Shenmue 2, and Shenmue 3 is upon us. We've had a little pushback, but that is absolutely fine because, again, I'd rather it be completely finished, and I've loved everything that I've seen so far. I know there's a lot of complainers out there saying that the graphics don't look next gen. I personally feel that the graphics are exactly what they're meant to be. If you played it back on the Dreamcast and then stepped into Shenmue 2 on the OG Xbox, the graphics are reminiscent of that. And the core audience of Shenmue are the likes of me that kind of grew up with it, that experienced it back then. I don't want it to change. I'm happy with the graphics. I'm happy with the way it looks. I'm just, again, really excited. I'm glad they finally got kind of caved in and announced a physical release. At first it was just going to be digital. So we've got Shenmue 3 coming this year. I'm going to be excited to stream it. Let me know what you guys think about Shenmue 3. I haven't really heard many people say a bad thing about it, but I know that there's going to be people out there that aren't bothered. But guys, I am excited for Shenmue 3. Okay, I also played this next game down at Gamescom. I got a chance to play Borderlands 3. I was playing it on an Xbox One X. So graphically, textures, 10 out of 10. Borderlands 1 and 2 still look pretty good by today's standards due to the cell shading graphics. You know, that's kind of like, tends not to have a sell-by date cell shading. It just looks good no matter what. If you've played like 13 on the OG Xbox and PS2, that's a game that still looks good by today's standards. So I think Borderlands has a little bit of an edge going into this next generation and the back end of the current generation because it's going to look good no matter what console you play it on. In terms of the gameplay itself, it very much is Borderlands. It was fast, pacey, chaotic at times, lots of different enemies coming towards you, collectibles with your basic treasure chests, money lockers, you name it. I didn't really see much difference in terms of the dynamic. I don't know what the story's going to be like, but you know, if you've played a Borderlands game, you've played them all, in my opinion. You know what to expect. So I think it's going to really work in their favour because we know what's coming, we like what's coming, it's worked before and it's going to work again. And I, for one, was impressed with their presence, 2K presence down at Gamescom. So Borderlands 3 for me, it's going to be an imminent release, which I'm glad about, gamers, because I feel like we've had like a 3-4 month drought of good game releases, and then Borderlands 2's coming, so we're about to kind of hit that next run of some solid game releases. So Borderlands 3, will you be getting it day one? I definitely am. Can't wait. Okay, so we have the next one then. Well, I'd like to think that most people watching this have played Fallout New Vegas and are therefore familiar with Obsidian. Obsidian are bringing us a new game, a new IP called The Outer Worlds. And I think it's a great time for Obsidian to release a game because there's this gap in the market for that kind of like Fallout 76 flopped, Fallout 4 didn't have as much longevity as I thought it would. So there's this big gap. Bethesda have kind of fallen a little bit and Obsidian have come along and The Outer Worlds is coming and it looks really kind of good, kind of sci-fi role-playing game. Love it, I love it. And I know a lot of you guys out there are very fond of Fallout New Vegas. They did a remarkable job at staying true to the Bethesda-esque Fallout franchise. I think actually Bethesda only met with Obsidian twice in that whole development of New Vegas. So, you know, Obsidian had this vision, they got it down to a T and they delivered a good game. Certainly for me, I prefer New Vegas compared to Fallout 4, but that's just me. You may differ. Final game before we mention the honourable mentions, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. No microtransactions, don't believe there's online, and we're getting that single player campaign. What more could we want? Now we have a new protagonist, Cal, And at E3, I saw an interview with Cal, the voice actor, and you know, you saw the kind of E3 trailer, and I like what I saw. It's a Star Wars game, so again, similar to Borderlands, we know what we're getting with this brand, we know what we're getting with this product, but the difference here is, I think one of the main selling points from the devs, and what really got me, was the lack of microtransactions. So that is going to be awesome. Single player campaign, we've wanted that for so long, and we're now finally getting that absolute immersion of being able to play single player through a Star Wars campaign in this generation. So I am freaking excited. And to echo some of you good people, what a time to be a gamer. What a time to kind of really be involved with this community, because we have so much good stuff coming up. So in terms of honourable mentions then, I just want to mention Doom Eternal and Pokemon Sword and Shield. And the reason I'm giving Doom Eternal an honourable mention and not in my definitive list is because for me personally, Doom Eternal, I've played it. Doom Eternal doesn't have as much, I don't know, but there's just something about it that I don't gel with. It's really hard for me to explain, but I've used the analogy before, like trying on a shoe. You can try on 5 different shoes or trainers or boots, and one of them will fit you perfect. The others might not fit very well, and the others just won't fit at all. Well, Doom Eternal for me is it just doesn't fit very well. I can't really explain it more than that. I will buy it, don't get me wrong, and I'm excited, but if it got delayed, it wouldn't have as much of an impact on me as the games I mentioned in my primary list. The same with Pokemon Sword and Shield. I'm not a huge Pokemon player. I'm a Pokemon fan. I love my little Pikachu back here, but I'm not a huge player. It was one of those kind of genres that really hit the ground running when I was kind of about to go to university, and I fell out of love with gaming and then came back into it and had a lot of catching up to do. So Sword and Shield, I'll get it whenever. It does look great. I didn't play it at Gamescom, but I did see other people playing it and enjoying it. So they're my games I'm super psyched for, and my honourable mentions. Please feel free to bang a comment below, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for taking the time to watch it, guys. I'll be back on Friday with more content. My name is Gemma. Take care. See you soon.